In addition to the basics, I'm going to teach you skills that will help you to stand out. I'll be focusing on out-of-the-ordinary data visualization, showing the best features of Microsoft Excel, and sharing many tips and tricks which can really make an impact on your work. Welcome. My name is Thomas. I am an IT engineer. I've been using Excel for over 25 years now. I've seen so many people using Excel on a very basic level. Excel offers you so much more. By the end of this course, you'll be better in Excel than many people who have been using it for years. You'll be able to create materials that your teammates, your boss, or your audience will be impressed with. If you are a beginner, you can start with the 30-minute Getting Started lecture where we go through the basic concepts. In the second section, I'm going to show you how to create something special, how to visually represent your data better than most Excel users usually do. You will learn how to create a chart where the max value is highlighted dynamically, conditionally format your data table to pinpoint key elements, create a map chart that is better than the standard Excel heat map, cheer up your bar chart with icons, and show progress in infographic style. In the third section, you can learn over 100 Excel shortcut keys which can greatly speed up your work on different areas like navigation, data entry, formatting, selection, formulas, and more. In the next section, we will discover the most frequently used Excel functions, looking into a lot of examples for manipulating dates, summing up values in different ways, using min, max, average, and count functions, and searching data with VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, index, and match functions. In the last section, you will understand how one of the most valuable Excel features works, the pivot table. Once you understand it, you will use it all the time in your data analysis. We will also create pivot chart from our data. As a bonus, you will learn how to build a solid data structure with multiple tables, how to connect them so you can use them as a real database. You are an ideal student for this course if you are new to Excel, because I will explain everything step by step. If you are already familiar with Excel, that's okay too. I'll make sure that you learn a lot of new things. Thank you for watching this intro video. If you'd like to take your Excel skills to the next level, enroll in this course now. Please watch this intro video. It contains important information. I designed this course to make it interesting for both beginners and students who are already familiar with Excel to some extent. You don't have to take the lectures one by one in chronological order. Actually, it's more refreshing to pick a visualization lecture on one day and another topic on another day. My only suggestion is, if you are a beginner, to pick the first lecture of a section for starter. It may contain general information for the other lectures in that section. Excel has been on the market for decades. It has many different versions, but fortunately the user interface hasn't changed significantly since the version Excel 2007. In this course I use the Excel 2019 version, which is pretty similar to 365 version. Every new release of Excel brought some new features, but in most cases we are going to use features that work in version 2010 and above. I will add version-related information where it's needed. To follow along the lectures effectively, you will need the English display language in your Excel. In the lectures, you will see the menu items, forms, and settings in English. If your Excel is installed with other than English, you will find further information in the next video about how to set it. There are also some operating system level regional settings like date format, decimal, and thousand separators. You don't need to change them. I will use the US English settings, but if you have something else, it shouldn't be an issue. Your original settings will be applied in downloaded resource files automatically. Using keyboard shortcuts can save you a lot of time. I'm going to show you as many as I can. As I'm working on Windows 10 operating system, I will use the Windows keyboard terminology. But don't worry if you are a Mac user. In most cases, you can map the Windows keyboard shortcut to your Mac keyboard using this table. Pause the video now and make some notes if it's necessary. If something doesn't work, check the keyboard shortcuts section, General Shortcuts lecture, Resources, where you can find a link to the official Microsoft page listing all Mac keyboard shortcuts. I hope you will enjoy this course and learn many new things. See you in the next video. Excel shortcut keys. Shortcuts can save you time when you work in Excel. You don't need to memorize all of them, just pick the ones that you think you would use a lot. You can find these shortcut keys in a PDF in the resources. Most of the shortcuts here work in every version from Excel 2007. A few of them may not, in case you use other than English keyboard layout. If you use Excel on a Mac, here is a map for modifier keys. Many keyboard shortcuts will work on Mac the same way, but some will not. Find the original Microsoft resource link in the resources for more information. I categorize shortcuts and put them in separate lectures. Let's start with some general shortcut keys. When you see a modifier key like Ctrl, Alt or Shift in a shortcut, you need to hold it down and hit the other key in the shortcut. So all the keys have to be down at the same time. When you use the Alt key, you need the one on the left. I type in some data quickly. Ctrl Z. Undo. Ctrl Y. Redo. Ctrl Alt plus. Zoom in. Ctrl Alt minus. Zoom out. F1. Help. I can look for the undo function, for example. Shift F10. Context menu. Or you can use the context key on your keyboard if you have one. Ctrl F1. Show hide the ribbon. Shift F11. Insert new worksheet. Ctrl N. Create new workbook. Ctrl W. Close workbook. Alt F4. Close Excel. I don't want to do that, so I hit cancel. Ctrl S. Save. F12. Save as dialog. Ctrl P. Print. You can completely turn off these page breaks in Options, Advanced, Display options for this worksheet, disable Show page breaks. If you want to hide these page breaks without changing Excel settings, you need to reopen the workbook. Alright, in the next lecture we are going to discover navigation shortcut keys. See you in the next video. Relative versus absolute cell references. It's important to know what they mean and which one to use in different situations. Now let's get into it. In Excel, you can refer to a cell by its column letter and row number. For example, I can refer to cell A1 like this. This simple formula multiplies the value of cell A1 by 2. This A1 in the formula is a relative cell reference. Why is this called relative? Because if I copy this cell downwards, Excel will change the reference automatically. So in cell B2, it refers to cell A2, and so on. When do you use this relative reference? You often want to autofill a column with a formula. If you use a relative reference, you won't need to edit the formula in other cells. Now what if I want to multiply column A values with 3? I can create a new formula just like in column B. But there is a smarter solution. Let me create headers for these columns that contain the multiplier. So I insert a row at the top and type in 2 and 3. Let me delete these values. The new formula will look like this. Now what happens if I copy down this formula? Excel automatically changes the second part of this formula too, because it's also a relative cell reference. But we would need to lock it to B1. This is where the absolute cell reference is coming into the picture. With a $sign, I can lock part of the reference. In this case, I'd like to lock the row, so I put the $sign here before the row number in reference B1. I autofill again with double-click on this corner node, and now the reference to cell B1 will remain in each cell, and the calculated values will be correct. Now let's copy this formula to the right. The second part of the formula has changed to cell C1, which is good. This is because column B was not locked, so it was updated to column C during the copy. To make this formula copy work, we need to lock column A here, so I enter a $sign right before the column name. Let me autofill this column B with double-click. Results won't change here, which is good. So we have a locked column here and a locked row here. Now I can copy the formula to the right, and it will be correct for column C. I autofill this column, and the results are correct. Let me create further multipliers here. And let me delete these cells. Now the beauty of this relative and absolute references in this formula is that now I can fill in the entire table in a few simple steps, and we will have a complete multiplication table. Notice that we have one simple, well-constructed formula here. Now I select this range. I hit F2 to enter to edit mode in cell B2, and I hit Ctrl Enter to fill all selected cells with the active cell B2 content, which contains our formula. I hit Ctrl Z to undo. You could also copy the formula this way by dragging it to the right and drag this row downwards. Same result. Now let's see a typical example for an absolute reference where we lock both the column and the row in a cell reference. Let's say we have values in USD currency in column A. We have a USD Euro conversion rate in cell B1. And we'd like to create a formula that calculates euro values here. This is how it looks with relative cell references. What we need to do is to lock both the column and the row in this B1 cell reference. Now I click here, so the cursor is blinking next to this B1 cell reference, and I hit F4 to change the reference type to absolute. By the way, F4 is a toggle. If I hit it once more, only the row will be locked. Next time, only the column will be locked. And next time, we get the original cell reference. But in this case, we need both as absolute, so I hit F4 again. Let me format this cell as euro. I double-click on the corner node to autofill this column. As you can see, the formulas will be correct in other cells too. They refer to cell B1, the conversion rate. Now if we want to copy and paste this euro data into another column, we need to take an extra step to lock column A in the first part of the formula. I double-click for autofill, and now if I copy this range into another column, the formula will be updated accordingly. It will refer to column A and cell B1 because I locked the right parts of the cell references. Also, if you use these relative and absolute cell references properly, you won't have data integrity issues even if you insert new columns or rows into your data range. The references will update properly. In order to use the right type of cell reference, you need to think ahead a little. But I'm sure that you will get used to it quickly and you will know which one to use in which situation. I hope this lecture was useful. See you in the next video.